Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Monday, 2nd day of August 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. It also gives you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. On the days you're out of your office or away from your desktop, you can point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live, and there you'll find a live real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. You just won't have access to the chat box. We also stream live each day on our YouTube channel, which is very easy to remember, youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we stream live each and every day, but we archive every daily show. Currently, there are over 1,700 daily live broadcasts archived there for your educational and viewing pleasure. So that will open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your blessings, for your mercy, and for your grace. As the events of the day unfold, we seek your clarity and your peace. We know you are with us and for us as we gather together. Scripture reminds us the more we seek you, the more we will find you. Our prayer today, God, is that you would lead our surrendered hearts to the path of your peace today. And we pray for the health of John and Dr. Tom and all of our members, everyone in our audience, and even those who couldn't be here today. We pray for your healing touch upon their lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Okay, happy Monday. Hope it is a happy Monday for you, wherever you are. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, the indices, as they're called. Pull in some fresh data. Here we go. The Dow down basically 1 point on the session, or unchanged. NASDAQ is up 42 points. S&P 500 is up 2.5, and the Russell 2000 up 7 points on the session. In the commodity basket, crude oil is down $2.93, trading 71.02 last. That's a drop of almost 4%. Gold up 90 cents, trading 18.10 last. Silver down 6 cents, trading 25.48 last. The Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 497 points, almost 2%. Shanghai gained 67 points, that's almost 2%. And the Hang Seng gained 274 points, which is a little over 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 49, DAX up 24, the CAC up 63. And for the CAC, that's a gain of almost 1%. This gives us a green day in Asia, a green day in the UK, but it's, I guess, a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. Again, the Dow is down just 1 point, so it's basically unchanged on the session, but the other three major indices, the NASDAQ, S&P, and the Russell, are in the green, not by much, but they are in the green. So again, it's a green day for Asia, green day for the UK, and a mixed, but mostly green day here in the US of A. So with that, we'll go to Michael, get a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. After that, I'll come back and we'll look at the Logic 247 alerts, concierge trade alerts, all that, and answers to your questions when I return. In fact, I don't think Michael's quite ready yet, so let me do this. We'll get this out of the way. We are currently in week 157 of Logic.
I am here.
247. Okay, Michael is here. Okay.
Yes.
So when I come back, we'll pick up with a recap of the Logic alerts, concierge trade alerts, and of course, answers to any of your questions throughout the broadcast. All you have to do is just type them into the chat box. Okay, Michael, I can see your charts. It's all yours.
All right. Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 2nd day of August, 2021. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at cfrn.net. On this page, all that we ask for, actually, on this page, just scroll down where it says free 5-day trial and the credit card required. Click on that. It's going to bring you to eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial, so you got to click on that link, all right? All right. Now, spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the Cftc risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is 2nd day of August, 2021. Today we made 13 ticks in crude, 34 ticks in gold, and 1 tick on the ES. Put us at plus 42.5 on the morning session. Today it took 14 minutes and 2 trades to get to my goal. And at that point, we're up $130 a contract. And we took a total of 26 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at 482. That's over 1 day. So obviously, it's the first day of the month, business day anyway. So we're averaging 42 per month. On the year, we've gotten our goal on 145 out of 147 days. And that brings us to $92,675 a contract. That's over 147 trading days, averaging $630 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Okay, so let's get into what happened. We clearly had some big movement here on the ES. We had nothing all morning. I'll just start out with the ES, I guess. But we had nothing all morning. This weekly trading zone, it was just hugging that zone all morning, just hugging it, not giving it up. And then, well, then the break came and it gave it all up. All right, so we started out here with the ES. Now, I didn't take a long trade here. Oh, man, let me just get rid of these. This one. Okay, now I didn't take a long trade in here because it really wasn't trending. That's why I didn't do anything. And then it came right back to the zone. Didn't give us anything for the first half hour. Then right here, I took this trade. I shouldn't have taken it. It was a total mistake to take, and I ended up getting a break even on it. I took this trade, ended up with a break even. That was a good valid short opportunity. I took this trade. This is where I picked up my 1 tick. I took a follow-up trade. That ended up being a break even. And then the ES was just garbage the whole rest of the morning. the morning session. All right, during the break, it gave a shorting opportunity right in here. If you ignored the trend,
Michael's internet is out. He just texted me, so he's still having internet connectivity issues.
okay, Dwayne just took it over. Okay, now I'm back. All right. Okay, let me just take it right back then. Let me do that. I gotta relog in, but that'll only take a second. There. Okay. All right. Oops, hang on. Okay. Okay. All right. So what am I in now? Gold. All right, I'm in gold. So our first trade in gold right here, we picked up gold. Our very first trade, we only picked up 2 ticks. We should have gotten more than that. I was looking to get the whole thing on it, but we didn't end up getting it. Missed a couple of trades right there, and then the next trade on gold, we picked up 11 ticks to put us at plus 13. Then I picked up 9 more ticks to put us, no, 8 more ticks to put us at plus 21. Then 10 more ticks to put us at plus 31. Then we had a break even there. I mean, we didn't, I'm sorry, we missed a trade there. Looks like we missed another trade right in here. That should have been okay. We had a break even there. Then we picked up 3 more ticks here to put us at plus 34. We had a couple of break even trades. And that was the last of it on gold. We were looking for trades in here, but they were just not forthcoming. We almost got into this one, but the black step line crossed above the BBC, and then everything just got sideways. And there was, even during the break, there was nothing. Okay, that was gold. Now, crude oil was pretty active today. It took a little while for it to get cranking, but once it did, it did. So let's scroll back here. All right, now we missed this first trade here, and on the second one, we picked up 5 ticks. All right, then we had a break even. Then we stopped out. We were minus 3.
Tony Araxia, the first.
Stopped out again. We were minus 11. Then we started getting it back a little at a time. Right there, we picked up 1. We were minus 10. Missed a nice short right there that would have given it all back. We picked up 1 more, put us at minus 9. And then it made some big movements in here, but it didn't give us any trade setups. I guess it did right over here and here, but these were all going into the low of the day, I believe. Then we went from minus 9 right here to plus 1. So we picked up 10 ticks right there, put us at plus 1. Now these two I think I missed because we went from plus 1 to plus 6. So we had a break even there. I think I missed those two. We picked up a little something there. The plus 6, I think, the plus 5 was right here, I think, but we went to plus 6. No, there's something that happened in here to get us to plus 6. Okay, and also to +9 from 6 to +9. Then from +9 to +11. Then from +11 to +16 was right here. +11 to +16 was right there. And then we stopped out on that one to put us back down to -8. We had a break even there. And then a +5 right there to put us at +13. And that was where we ended the morning session with crude oil. Now it was jumping around a lot. This move right here, I missed. I tried to get into one of those. I got into 2 of them, but I tried to get into more than that. Then the break came, and during the break, there was a short there, and looks like a long right here, and possibly not there, but right in here, another long that just happened. Okay, but we ended up with +13 on crude. After a whole bunch of trades, we had like 15 trades on crude, and we only ended up with +13 ticks. We should have done better than that. A lot of those trades that I got out with 1 or 2 ticks. At the end of the ES, Jake. Yeah, I know you guys lost me, but I thought you lost me at the end of gold. But I'll go over gold again for you really quick. Okay. Here on gold, our first trade. Our first trade was just a +2. Then we had a +11 to get us to 13. Then we had a +8 to get us to 21. +2, +11, +8, +10 to get us to +31. Break even. +3 to get us to +34. Then a break even and a break even. And the rest of it was nothing. Okay, that was it. I don't know why I lost my audio. We did get an upgrade yesterday. We got an upgrade to, supposedly got an upgrade to everything. Yeah, they did everything. Even Jake, who's right here behind me working on something online, he lost everything too. So we lost the complete internet. It wasn't just DT Pro and stuff. But that said, let's get back to the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 2nd day of August, Monday, the 2nd day of August, 2021. Made 13 ticks in crude, 34 ticks in gold, 1 tick on the ES, put us at +482.5 on the morning session. Today it took 14 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're at $130 a contract, and you took a total of 26 trades. So on the month now, we're at $482. That's over 1 trading day, averaging 482. Obviously, on the year, we've gotten our goal for the day on 145 out of 147 possible days. That puts us at $92,675 a contract. That's over 147 trading days, averaging $630 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, just go to this page right here, eminitrainingschool.com. eminitrainingschool.com. Right here it says free 1-week trial. Just click on that. No credit card required. All you have to do is give us your name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading channel so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click that link, we don't know you took the free trial, so you got to click on that link. There you go, Dwayne. It is all yours. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, there you go.
Okie doke. Recap of the recap.
Today, it took 14 minutes and 2 trades to get to $130 per contract.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Now, guys, something all of you have asked about for many years is, could a person use the CFRN Emini method to trade stocks and equities? The answer to that question is about to happen right before your very eyes. So, not going to happen today, probably not this week, but it's coming to a screen near you. And so, For those who have an interest in using our methodology, our strategy, and our indicators to trade equities using the TradingView platform, we will, I suspect, have a very special offer so that when you get a passport, at least in the beginning, it will include access to equities. We haven't worked out all the details. We've still got to take care of a few things, but I know many of you have asked for a long time, and so now you have an answer. The answer is there's an answer on the way. So I found this of interest. Pilots in Los Angeles warned of possible sighting of man wearing jetpack. Now this is at 5,000 feet. I don't know. I know you guys can't hear the audio on this. And I'm not going to switch the audio around. It's just too cumbersome. But let me just get you up to the... Here's the pilot to the tower. Possible jetpack man in sight. Was he off your left or right? Right wing. What altitude? About 5,000 feet. And then he's asking another plane, did you see the UFO? We were looking. Attention all aircraft. Use caution with the jetpack. He is just north of the final, around 5,000. Let's go full screen on this so you can see this. Now, there he is. It has been suggested as an explanation that someone created a drone to look like a man. I suppose you could never thought of it, but you could build a drone to look like anything other than a drone. Seems like he's traveling at an awful high rate of speed.
It's Iron Man.
And I don't know, yeah, and I don't know if the body can withstand elevation of 5,000 feet. I guess that's not that high, right? Put it in
No,
context.
it's not that high. It can withstand that.
It's not that high, so interesting stuff. Okay. All right. In headlines today, the senators up on Capitol Hill have released their $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Schumer said he would immediately take steps to start debate on the proposal to upgrade the country's roads, bridges, pipes, ports, and internet connections. Schumer said that given how big or how bipartisan the bill is, the Senate should be able to quickly process relevant amendments and pass the bill in a matter of days. We haven't had an infrastructure overhaul in a long time. As happens with the Olympics a lot, a Belarusian sprinter seeks asylum in Poland. A Belarusian sprinter entered the Polish embassy in Tokyo and defected after refusing to board a flight home, saying she feared for her safety if she returned to Belarus. You know, as Americans, we get to live here because we were born here, or we went through the immigration process, but if we want to leave, we can. I don't know how many of you watched the limited TV series Queen's Gambit, which is about chess. It's really a great TV series. I think there's 6 episodes or so, and then that's the end of the story. But the young lady representing the U.S., she was able to go wherever the tournaments were, Moscow, wherever, travel freely, and play chess. However, not so for the Russian chess player. The Russian player, and I guess this is true with most communist countries, there were KGB following him everywhere he went, even to the bathroom, to make sure he did not defect. So think about that. We live in a free country where we have the freedom to leave if we want to. Imagine living in a country where you don't have that kind of freedom. Fauci warns of more coronavirus pain and suffering, but no new lockdowns. Unfortunately, Fauci has a way of backtracking everything he says, So that might be code for get ready for more lockdowns. I don't know.
Yeah, Australia's locked down.
Are they? I didn't know that.
Yep. That's what Vicky said. I got a meeting with her in 10 minutes, so I'll get more detail.
Florida on Sunday set a record for coronavirus hospitalizations with 10,207 people confirmed to have COVID-19 receiving care in Sunshine State hospitals. Previous record was set on July 23rd of 2020, more than 6 months before coronavirus vaccines were made widely available. Just 2 days earlier, the state set a daily record for new coronavirus cases with 21,683 infections confirmed in a 24-hour period. Governor Ron DeSantis has resisted mask and vaccine mandates, as has the state's GOP-controlled legislature, and limited restrictions local governments can impose. DeSantis on Friday said school districts couldn't make students wear masks when classes resume next month as the highly infectious Delta variant spreads rapidly. The Taliban at it again, expending military offensive to cities. As the U.S. withdraws, the Taliban is getting ready. They push their offensive from rural areas and smaller cities into urban centers for the first time since they were driven from power nearly 2 decades ago. 20 years we've been working at this, and now we're pulling out, and the Taliban is picking up right where they left off. Taliban fighters on Saturday fired rockets at airports in Kandahar and Herat, 2 of the country's largest cities and economic hubs. They briefly disrupted flights. In Kandahar, 3 rockets landed in rapid succession, damaging a runway. If I was holding a ticket when that happened, I probably just wouldn't take the plane. Oh, and speaking of planes, if you haven't watched the TV show Manifest, it's on Netflix now, and it's quite good. So there's 2 seasons on Netflix already, so you can binge without any commercial interruption. Firefighters make progress against Oregon's massive bootleg fire. Myanmar general declares himself prime minister and promises a 2023 election. The U.S. joins the U.K. and Israel in blaming Iran for drone attack on tanker. Former Colombia Army chief to face charges for extrajudicial killings. And number 1 at the box office this weekend, Jungle Cruise. People are starting to go back to the movie theater. And in tech news, robot waiters. A robot is serving restaurant customers in California because there just isn't enough staff. A manager said the talking robot is filling in as she struggles to find employees amid the labor shortage. And this waitress could be coming to a restaurant near you. Don't know how it works. I assume it rolls up to your table. You verbally give the order to somebody on that screen back in the kitchen, and then when your food's ready, it comes back. That's my guess. And Apple removes an anti-vax dating app, Unjected, from the App Store. So people who use dating apps, wanted to date people who have also chosen not to get the vaccination, and Apple has booted that app from the store. And it looks like we have a new Silicon Valley on the way. Thousands of tech workers are flocking to Huntsville, Alabama. Look out, San Francisco, there's a new tech hub on the horizon. Alabama's unsung Rocket City is luring employees with good jobs and southern hospitality. Tesla is going to pay out $1.5 million to settle Model S battery throttle claims. The company will pay $625 to each car owner after complaints that a software update cut the maximum charge of their vehicle. Zoom has reached an $85 million settlement in a lawsuit over user privacy and Zoom bombing. And the settlement comes in the wake of a lawsuit claiming it violated users' privacy rights by sharing personal data with Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn. Now, I'm sure you've noticed this. If you search for something on Google, red tennis shoes, whether you find them or not doesn't matter, because the next time you open up Facebook, guess what you're going to find? You're going to be bombarded with ads for red tennis shoes. Yeah. Space tourists fly at their own risk. Nobody is regulating their safety, because federal agencies don't plan to regulate flights until at least 2023. Experts say ticket holders are accepting their role in an experiment. Subscription services, which have become very popular, have now moved to the automobile. Tesla isn't the only company now charging a monthly fee for specialty features. BMW, Mercedes, and Cadillac have also considered subscriptions that would enable things like heated seats or autopilot. You know, I don't know. I guess in the summer you don't need to pay for heated seats, but then you got to turn it back on in the winter, and how much do you end up paying over time? I don't know how great an idea that is, but... Oh, and chances are you know somebody who works for Amazon. Think about it for a minute. Do you? 1 in every 153 American workers is an Amazon employee. Yeah, 1 in every 153 American workers is an Amazon employee. My son works at an Amazon fulfillment center. More people work for Amazon than are employed in the entire U.S. residential construction industry. It's a lot of people. I said before on the show that I see the day where you'll stop to get gas at an Amazon gas station. You'll buy your groceries at an Amazon store. The one that they bought, I forget the name. The things are so expensive there, but I think there'll be a more price-friendly version of the Amazon grocery store. Although not everybody goes out to buy groceries anymore. It's a pretty simple procedure to have them delivered right to your doorstep. You get your insurance from Amazon. You go get your annual physical at the Amazon clinic. I think all that could become a reality. A major iPhone trend that worried Wall Street for years is just reversed. In the past, iPhone users would hold on to their devices for years, crimping Apple's growth and worrying analysts, but that trend has begun to reverse recently. And Chinese companies with fraudulent trademarks are wreaking havoc on Amazon. America's trademark system is in disarray as cheats slip through the cracks, and the U.S. government is getting overwhelmed. So there you have it. News of interest on this Monday, the 2nd day of August, 2021. Okay, and in Logic 247 news, since the market opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 20 alerts, still waiting on the results of 4. We've had 16 actionable alerts, of which 2 would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, using market structure and a very simple 3-step process that we teach all of our traders. Now, I mentioned this a couple times last week, and I'll mention it again right now, and I'll show you an example so you see what I mean. On this alert here, nope, not that one, this one. This short on crude. We only recap the first trigger, although we know that once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times than not triggering multiple times. And so, true to form, this alert that was stopped out did trigger the second time, and it did run to the target. And I suggested last week, if you go back and look, through the alerts, this information's all in the public domain once it's published. And so most alerts, I think the figure I used was better than 50% of alerts that get stopped out go on to hit their trigger on the second or third trigger. And sometimes we see alerts trigger 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 times. Just remember that once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering again and again, maybe even again, than not triggering again. So here's where we started last night. We had 2 carryovers, the Dow and the S&P. We're in week 157. Last week, 156. We had a total of 62 alerts, 44 actionable, of which 16% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible based on market structure and that simple 3-step method we teach all of our traders. And Michael R. says Australia is locked down. His daughter lives there. Well, our prayers are with her, Michael. Okay, now the logic alerts are based on current price action with a 20-minute minimum buffer built in to give you time to get to your computer, read the alert, study your charts, and understand why it's a window of opportunity. Our goal is to teach you to be self-sufficient. We want you to get to the point where you no longer need us. We still want you to hang around because the passport is a lifetime membership, but we don't want you dependent on us. We want you to be able to look at a chart, see the opportunity, and use what Michael and Valerie teach you each morning in the live training room to execute your trades. So those are based on current price action. Our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, are based on historic price action. And whereas the logic alerts come out around the clock, 24/7, could be 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., has nothing to do with the time. It has to do with when opportunity presents itself. And the futures markets trade around the clock from Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, to Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern, with a 1-hour break each and every day from 5 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Eastern. So today, the Monday session ends at 5 p.m. Eastern, and tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, the Tuesday session begins. So last night, got them out at 6:10, 10 minutes after the open. And the way to handle these is just go to your chart and draw a line in the sand. As price starts trending up towards 44.16, that's bullish. So our strategy will look for opportunities to buy the market. And as price trends down to 43.88, that's bearish, our strategy will look for opportunities to sell the market. As you learn the methodology and the strategy, you'll be able to go and just look for those opportunities yourself. This just helps you decide which way the market is headed for the session. And sometimes we do get two-sided action. So let's go look at the charts. We'll start with the daily. And I'll refresh this. There we go. Okay. So, as Stefan pointed out in the discussion group on Friday, I think, or over the weekend, we had 2 daily back-to-back dojis on the daily S&P chart. Well, now we've got a third one. And we're sitting right on top of that trend line. We're sitting right on top of blue and climbing. The red and blue indicators called the CFMA1. I refer to it as blue and climbing, red and falling. One is bullish, support. One is bearish, resistance. And so we put in a low on July 19th. We put in the all-time historic intraday high on July 29th. So that's our last leg up. From the low to the high, the 24% fib is at 43.75. Now we spiked that on Friday. And today, our high is not quite as high as the Thursday high, the all-time intraday high. Let's see if we can, 44.22.5. Today's high, come on, 44.22 and a half. So, okay, wait a minute. Something's not right, is it? Today's high is 44.19. Oh, do come on. 44.19.75 is today's high. So we didn't quite take out that all-time historic intraday high. The all-time historic closing high was put in July 26th. That closing price, 44.15. So we got wicks above and wicks below, and we're just moving sideways. Again, we're right on top of this trend line, which is potential support. Going climbing is potential support. If we take out the low of today, which is 43.77 and a half, that opens the window of opportunity for us to trade down to that 24% fib retracement, which would be something kind of like 43.83 down to 43.75. Now these WTZs were from last week, so go ahead and get those off the screen. The other indicator, the green line, it's called the BBC, just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above it, we're bullish in anticipation of higher prices. When price crosses below it, we're bearish in anticipation of lower prices. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, and it's called the BBC. Price always comes home. A pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Everything I just explained about the indicators is true, not only for the S&P daily, but for all markets and all time frames. Everything we do, everything we teach is fluid across all markets and all time frames. From the 4-tick range chart that we use in the live training room, to a daily, to a weekly, to a monthly. And yes, it applies to stocks as well. And you'll be able to see that in coming days. Price flows on all markets and all time frames the same. And some people will go, no, 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 it doesn't. They've got different personalities. Well, they may. However, price flows from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance in a never-ending cycle. Doesn't matter what market, doesn't matter what time frame. If you can grasp that and grasp multiple time frames, you're well on your way to finding the consistency in the markets that you seek. You also need a definable edge. And that's what our live training room is about every day, is teaching you our definable edge. The exact same edge that we've used for many, many years. We haven't changed a line of code in our indicators. We haven't changed a rule to our strategy since maybe 2009, 2010. If it's not broke, leave it alone. So looking at the daily chart, we know where major resistance is, high of the day. Major support, low of the day. Not always that simple, but today it's pretty simple. If we take out the low of today, then we're looking at the low of Friday and the 24% Fibonacci retracement. Now the entire move, which began November 2nd up through the current high, that 24% fib of the entire move is down here at 4140. That's the shallowest possible Fibonacci retracement. Now, based on the entire move, how long has it been since we had a 24% fib retracement? Very long time. Because, of course, when this happened, and this was the all-time historic high, this was not the 24% fib. So, we don't use terms like overbought, oversold, because markets can remain that way for a very long time. But I can say that we're overdue for a much deeper retracement, the shallowest of which, based on the current high and the low of October 30th of last year, right here, 4140. But keeping it to today, we take out the low of the day, anticipate support and a bounce at the 24% fib. Now, We know that institutional traders, deep pocket traders, funds, they look at daily charts the way you and I might look at 5-minute charts, and 30-minute charts, and range charts. Whenever you get a 24% fib retracement on a daily chart, you can expect a pretty decent bounce. How decent? Well, on Friday we hit the 24% fib at 43.75, and we bounced all the way up to today's high, which is 43.75. Come on, man, to 44.1975. So that's 25, 35, about a 45-point bounce. Price pulled back to the 24% fib, and over 2 days bounced 45 points. It's a pretty good bounce. Question is, as we come back down, if we make it back to the 24% fib, will it hold? If it doesn't hold, if the low of Friday doesn't hold, then our next area of support would be the daily BBC, which is currently at 43.54. And then the 38% fib, the 50, and the 62. So with that said, we'll go to the 30-minute chart of the S&P. Last night's CTA long, interestingly enough, the numbers last night were identical to the numbers on Friday. 44.16 and 43.88. Price behaves around a CTA pretty much the same way it behaves around a weekly trading zone. There's consolidation, rejection, and what we like to see is the slice. The weekly trading zone, the slice is not the most desired thing. It's the thing we see the least of, but on the CTA, we love to see that. So, we had long logic alerts on the way up last night, which worked out very well. We had short logic alerts on the way down, which worked out very well. You can see all of those in the logic channel, the one I just scrolled through a moment ago. On the CTAs, 44.16, we put in a swing high at 44.1975, so 3 3/4 points at $50 a point. That's what the market made available. And then price got back below the trigger, triggered again, and put in a high at 44.18 1/4, so 2 1/4 points. Now we got a bearish cross right here at 8:30 this morning. The high was put in off the London Open. Here's the London Open, 3 a.m. Eastern. Here's the 3:30 a.m. Eastern candle, and it's kind of been downhill from there. We got below the BBC, price pulled up, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't, and it sent us down to last week's weekly trading zone. The zones you see on my chart are last week's zones. The new zones are published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So our traders have an opportunity to get the new zones on the chart before Wall Street opens for the week. But you should hang on to the previous weekly zones for the first couple days, because the strength that they exhibited on Friday carries over into Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday. In fact, on Sunday night, with the logic alerts, we're still using the weekly trading zones as our final target. On every long alert, logic or CTA, the weekly trading zone above is the final trade to target. On a short, the final trade to target is the zone below. Now we came down through our weekly zone from last week at 91/92. We spiked it just enough to touch this and get rejected. The low of this candle is 86.5. So All we got, there's just 1.5 points available. That's it. Price is in that range. And let me refresh your memory. See what's happening here? Got wicks up here and wicks down here, wicks up here, and so on our chart. That creates just a lot of sideways movement. And unfortunately, this could continue for a while. The high of the range is basically, well, what's that number? 44.22, and the low of the range is 43.72. So I mean, that's a tradable range, but when you get down to the 30-minute chart, it kind of looks like this. We opened here last night. The vertical line separates Friday from the Sunday Monday session. We ran right up to last week's weekly zone, where we consolidated for quite a number of hours before finally triggering. We had a logic alert to capture this move on the way up. And then we hit the CTA, where we consolidated just like we do at weekly trading zones. We did spike it enough. You know, you could have taken some points out of there. The high was 44.19.5, so 3.5 points. Then we got a bearish cross. Price traded down to the zone below, where we are currently consolidating. This is our second 30-minute candle. If price bounces, we expect resistance at red and falling. If price can get through red and falling, then we expect resistance at the BBC. So we would like to see that. We'd like to see price go ahead, bounce, find resistance, and then once resistance becomes obvious on our chart, then we'll have another opportunity to trade on the short side. On the Dow, here's the open last night. We had a logic alert on the way up. As you can see, price ran right to the zone. First, on the way up, it triggered the CTA, 34.955. There we go, 34.955. So we triggered once. Well, that's not 55, is it? $55. Okay, so on the first trigger at 55, it took us up to almost 85. So 29 points, $5 a point. And price got back below the trigger, triggered again. This time took us up to the zone. So that would be 45, that's 55 points at $5 a point. Once again, price gets back below the trigger. So we got one trigger, two trigger, here's the third trigger, and the high, 35.005. So 50 points at $5 a point, $250 per contract traded. And on this pullback, we didn't quite make it below the trigger, did we? No. Price pulled back to the BBC. Remember, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Sent this back to the zone for more consolidation. Only three things happen at a zone. The most likely thing is consolidation. That's what you're going to see 70-75% of the time. This right here is rejection. When the 30-minute candle closed, the only thing left touching the zone was the wick. Rejection. The third and least likely thing is the slice. And here's a slice right here. This is the one you'll see the least amount of time, but it happens. It's happened more lately than I think I've ever seen it before, but when price slices through a zone like it's not even there, what typically happens is when that move runs out of steam, price will reverse, go back to the zone it sliced through, sometimes consolidate there, and then continue in the direction of the slice. So that's what we'll be waiting for, is another move to the downside. Okay, the short side, 34.795. And the swing low was 93. So basically price got rejected at the CTA. Just like right here, price got rejected. This is going back to Friday. We drew in this window of opportunity during the live broadcast, and price came right down and did exactly what it did what was logical. Everything we do, there's no mystery, there's no magic, there's no secrets. It's all based on logic. And the logical thing when we drew in this window of opportunity was that price would come down and find support at the zone, which it did, which took us into last night. So we had one trigger up top, two triggers, three triggers, and then we had a fourth trigger here. Okay, this one's a little bit different because you're triggering below the BBC, and our strategy says that we only buy above the BBC, we only sell below the BBC. That's where you're trading the alerts. That's not true in the live training room. Michael just trades whatever's in front of him on the range chart, which is a fast moving chart, and the reason we use the fast moving chart is so that he can show you as many opportunities as possible during the 2-hour session each and every day. It's so important if you want to learn how to trade to have a live instructor. Reading books and watching videos, that's fine, but you're not going to learn how to trade until one, you actually start trading. And so when you become a passport holder, not only do you have a live instructor, but we want you to start trading right away, but not in your live account. We want you to trade in your simulator or demo account until you've put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Once you accomplish that, our blueprint then gives you the green light to go live with one contract, and you stay with one until you increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you increase your account balance by $2,000, the blueprint gives you the green light to add a second contract. The big deal about the second contract is you're adding it with profit you earned in the market. And that's how your new trading business should unfold. When it's time to add a new contract, you just add one at a time, and you only add it with profit you earned in the market. That makes it really hard to blow up another account. We've all blown up accounts. We know what it feels like. It's not fun. Now, I'm not saying you could never blow up an account with us, because you can. You can break the rules. You can do things you're not supposed to do. And sure, you can blow up an account with us just like anywhere else. But if you stick to the blueprint, it's going to take a while. See how price came up here again after we triggered, but see, we have to wait until price gets above the BBC before we can initiate a long position. And this was the opening candle on Wall Street, and it spiked all the way up to 35.082. The trigger 34.955. So as I said earlier, once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times and not triggering multiple times, but not all triggers are created equal. Like this. Gotta let price get above the BBC, and then as long as there's room to run, which there was, then you can still trade that window of opportunity. On the Russell. The long CTA 22.36. And the short side was 22.17. And here's the window of opportunity we drew in Friday on the show, and as you can see, price traded right down through it. Just like we saw on the Dow, found support at the weekly zone. That's what we expect. Price was rejected, and then that led to everything we saw happen last night. So the CTA last night, 22.36. The first trigger only took us to 37.3. Now you might have just stayed in it, but it did make A little over 1 point available, and then it got back below the trigger, trigger number 2, and this time it takes us up to the target, which is the weekly zone. Remember, on the long, it's always the weekly zone above. And on Sunday night, we're using the previous week's zones. So we got 1 trigger, 2 trigger, from 36 to 39, 3 points at $50 a point, $150 per contract traded. And we get back below the trigger, and we do it again. We consolidate for quite a few hours here at the zone. And then here's the London Open. 3 a.m. Eastern, London opens. We get a move higher initially, and then price comes back down to the zone, gets back below the trigger. Okay, and so here's another example of triggering, but not a good trigger, because we're below the BBC and we're fighting red and falling. The short CTA number was 2217, where price got rejected. The swing low. $22.16.3. 7 ticks. Basically, as you can see, price rejected. It bounced us up to red and falling, which we expect to be good resistance until proven otherwise. If price can get through red and falling, then we expect resistance here. Whichever spot the market finds resistance creates an opportunity for a short trade. Okay, so we did the S&P, the Dow, the Russell. Let's go to the NQ. The NQ last night, short side was 14,905. Which obviously hasn't triggered. Here's the open. Climb the back of blue and climbing right up to the weekly zone, where we consolidated for quite a while. We never got to the long CTA, which was 15,103. However, there were logic alerts in the logic channel, both on the short and the long side. I do believe. So we went from zone to zone, back to the zone. Now, because we're below the BBC and we have red and falling overhead, we expect the market to find resistance until proven otherwise, and give us another leg to the downside. On the way down, there's potential support right there. So you got a little window of opportunity right here. You got potential support right there. So basically, 57 down to 47. And then you've got the zone. That low's potential support, that low's potential support. Then, of course, the weekly zone is potential support. But no CTA trigger on the NQ, just sort of a sideways grind. Price pulling up to red and falling. In the BBC, we expect either one of those alone to be good resistance. Together, we've got resistance times 2. And how will we know? Well, we'll start printing red candles. It really is that simple. There's a little window there, 74 down to 64. But this low has the potential to be good support, so you gotta be. This is not one you want to walk away from. This is one you want to sit and watch, because you need to monitor this. Okay, crude oil. Big drop in crude. 73.55 was the CTA on the short side. On the long side, 74.55. Here's the open last night. We open above the BBC, below red and falling. So price is pinched. It's pinched. It's pinched until the market has to make a decision, show its hand. What does it really want to do? Price is always trying to get to a weekly zone. Look back on Friday. Price was above the BBC, so we know it's trying to get to the zone above. Finally did. And then as it got pinched, once we got it close below the BBC, then we knew that price was trying to get to the weekly zone below, and it came right down, pretty as you please, to the zone at 72.80/85, where it found support. That's what we expect, proven otherwise. Price got rejected, sent it back up to resistance. Support always sends the market looking for resistance. Resistance always sends the market looking for support. Blue and climbing, we expect that to be support. Back to the BBC, we expect that to be resistance. And again, price gets pinched and makes a decision, comes down to the zone. We consolidate for 2 candles at that zone from last week. The market finds support. Why did it find support right there? There. Whenever price returns to a previous area of support and resistance, we expect it to continue to be support or resistance until proven otherwise. And on this candle, we got that proof otherwise. So from 73.55 down to the zone at 72.85, 70 points, which is $700 per contract traded. 70 ticks, $10 a tick, $700 per contract traded. We traded all the way down to last week's lowest weekly trading zone. Nope, it was the second to the lowest. The lowest zone last week was 69.90/95. And the price of crude oil moves $1. That's worth $1,000. From 73.55 to 72.55. That's $1,000. No matter what side of the trade you're on, it's a $1 move is $1,000. So 73.55, the trigger, to 72.55, that's $1,000. And then 71.55, $2,000. And 70.55, on the nose, 70.55, that's a $3,000 per contract move. If you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts, that would be $6,000. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, it would be $30,000. The worst thing you can do, even if you have plenty of money, is to open an account and start trading 10 contracts. If you want to hang on to your money. Again, when you get a passport, you need to be trading right away with Michael in the live training room, but in SIM, until you put together 10 consecutive days in a row. Only then should you go live trading just 1 contract, and then you trade that contract until you increase your account balance by $2,000, and then use that profit to underwrite a second contract. Now you'll trade 2 contracts for a while until the blueprint says it's time for number 3, number 4, number 5, number 7. But you only add 1 at a time, and you only add with profit you earned in the market. Okay? So a nice deep down move for crude. And that 70.55 that we just mentioned, which is the low of the session, that's also this week's lowest weekly trading zone for crude, and it's only Monday. Does that mean we expect the market to continue to plummet? Actually, it means the opposite. When we reach the highest or lowest weekly trading zone by Tuesday morning, and I know today's only Monday, but by Tuesday morning, what we've seen happen historically is price by the end of the week will be at the opposite end of the spectrum. So getting to the lowest weekly zone this week, 70.55/60, and it doesn't mean we won't trade below it. We may, but whether it's later today or tomorrow, we expect to see a reversal in crude, and the highest weekly trading zone this week is 76.80/76.85. It's about $4,000. No, 6,000. Yeah, almost 7,000 from here to the highest weekly zone. Okay, gold. And in case nobody told you, we are in the Z contract. Last night, short side was 1807, which never triggered. The long side, now the opening candle last night was right there, that candle. Oh, got it wrong. That's the opening candle. Okay, so we open, we go sideways, we drop to blue and climbing, which acts as support, which sends us up to the BBC, which acts as resistance, and then we get a leg, sideways consolidation. We pop up one more time, find resistance at the BBC, and that takes us down to last week's zone at 1810/11, where we consolidate for quite a few hours. Then we get a bullish cross about 11 a.m. Eastern today, and price is now working its way up to the zone from last week, 1824/25. This week, the next week, where we just passed through this week's zone, which is at 21/22. The next zone this week is up at 1832/33. So the S&P's come to the zone, catching a bounce. Now tomorrow on the show, I will have updated my zones to the current weekly zones, but again, you don't want your chart too cluttered up with too many lines. So I know some people color code the previous week's zones. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine. You should get the new weekly zones on, but on a notepad or something by your keyboard, make sure you have handy a list. And if you've got it, if you're a member, you have it in Telegram, you can just reference over. So there you have it. Brings us back to the daily chart of the S&P, where we've still got that doji going on. Two dojis back to back, one with the long wick up, one with the long wick down. Now we've got basically a double top here. If we take out the low of Friday and the 24% fib retracement, we should find support at the daily BBC. That should be good for a bounce. Remember, this bounce at the 24% fib was good for 75 points. If we get through the daily BBC, which probably would take a couple of attempts, here's the 50% fib retracement. Here's the 62. And this last leg here. And then above us, above the all-time historic intraday high, the 100% fib extension of the last leg up is right here. Now, the daily chart's important because you can see things like you wouldn't know this on your range chart or your 30-minute chart. Multiple time frames are important. You need to learn to use multiple time frames. You need to learn to think in multiple time frames. And there we have it. That is our Monday so far. Again, if you missed the recap, since last night when the markets opened, we've issued a total of 20 alerts. We're up to almost 8,000 alerts. We're at 7,000 and change. I think I said last week that either this week or next week, because we average about 50 to 60 alerts a week in the logic channel, we should hit 8,000 sometime this week or next week. 8,000. Think about that. And over those 8,000 alerts, on average, 20% do get stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, but less when possible, using market structure and a very simple 3-step process we teach all of our traders. So that brings us to our good word for the day. If you need a passport, you can get one at eminifuturestrading.com. If you have questions, you can call Valerie at 949-42-EMINI. You can email us support@cfrn.net. It really is everything a trader needs. As you are probably painfully aware, 9 out of 10 new traders fail. Why? They don't have a teacher. Well, I got a book, I got videos. You need a teacher. Okay? It's not us. And I don't mean a teacher who, I'm talking about somebody who will spend one-on-one time with you, helping you actually learn the process. Really understand how markets work. You need a definable edge. That's what our methodology here is all about. You need a business plan. You need a trading plan. The passport is a lifetime membership. No more fees, no more buying trading stuff off the internet. Live classroom training every day. Individual, unlimited, one-on-one mentoring as you need it. The logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts. Everything we do, everything we've ever done, and anything we might do, like TradingView, okay? One money, one time. Everything a trader needs. One low price. How low can they go? Well, it's $5,000 for the passport. $49.97 to be exact. But again, that's everything we do for life. No expiration date. Okay. Good word for the day. On Friday, we talked about not being a know-it-all. Proverbs 12:23. The wise don't make a show of their knowledge. Today, Proverbs 2, make that 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Are you successful but unfulfilled? Then trust in the Lord with all of your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In 1987, the Minnesota Twins baseball star Kirby Puckett saw a childhood dream come true when he led his team to a World Series championship. Greg Gagne, the Twins shortstop, described the scene in the clubhouse after their win. He related the hugging, the shouting, the laughing, the obligatory dousing of champagne over everybody's heads, and the presentation of the trophy. But the memory that would stick with him forever, he said, took place 10 minutes into the celebration when he noticed the normally cheerful Puckett sitting silently on a stool away from everyone else. Gagne wove his way through the media, players and coaches. He sat down beside Puckett and asked him what he was thinking about. With deep sadness in his eyes, Puckett said, "If this is all there is to it, life is pretty empty." Now, this is a baseball guy who his team just won the World Series. Doesn't get any bigger in the world of baseball. It's kind of like my first Mercedes many years ago. I wanted it so bad, and I just knew that if I could get those keys in my hand and my butt in that seat, my life would be forever changed. That it would all be downhill from there. I put my faith, my trust, my hope, my future, my dreams in a car, in a hunk of metal, which without gas or electricity won't even move. Took me about 3 days for that sinking feeling to come over me, just like what Puckett, or similar to what Puckett was experiencing here in a locker room after the Minnesota Twins won the World Series. About day 3, the shiny had worn off, and I realized that it was just a car with very high payments. It would get me from point A to point B just like a $500 clunker would, except I might look better rolling up, the sound system might be better, but it's just a car. And so I was faced with a similar thing, like, okay, because the world wasn't different. The sky was not bluer. The flowers did not smell better. You follow me? I mean, so I understand the deep sadness in his eyes when he said, if this is all there is to it, life is pretty empty. So I'm going to ask you now, can you relate? You may have a great job, an excellent salary, a fine house, a wonderful family, good health, maybe even a low golf handicap, but no real peace. If so, you're not alone. There are multitudes of people out there just like you. King Solomon's fame spread throughout the world. In his day, he had more wealth and power than Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk combined. Whoa, think about that. King Solomon, in his day, in today's dollars, as they say, he had more wealth and power than Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk combined. But he wrote this in Ecclesiastes 2:11. When I surveyed all that my hands had done, and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless. How many of us throughout our life, it's not just about the one car for me, there's been other milestones in my life where I just knew, boy, if I could just get that, or if I could have just achieved this, or if I can do that thing or this thing or whatever, then it's always then life's going to be good. Then I'm going to feel fulfilled, and then, I'll die a happy man, and all these things. But these things, they don't do it, do they? Things never will. So Solomon, who was not only the wealthiest but the wisest, we're told, what answer did Solomon come up with? In Proverbs 3:5, Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. And that's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.